Hey y'all. So as part of my prepping journey, I started pressure canning meat. And this is a little pint-sized jar of some ground beef that I did. And I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do this and how you can do it too. I got this 10-pound roll of ground beef from Sam's. I got it on sale. It's like $3 a pound. Just cook it down, add salt and pepper to taste. Drain all the grease off. Make sure you get all that grease off. You don't want any of that being canned with your meat. Use this little funnel thing so that you can keep the rim of your jars as clean as possible. You don't want to be getting any oil or grease or any other contaminants on that rim. Just fill it up till, about 1 inch of head space, and then shake it around so it settles in a little bit, just like I'm doing here. I'm not packing mine in because I only want about 1 pound of meat in each one of them. So that's what it looks like right there. Now I'm going to take a rag with some vinegar. I usually use paper towels, but I didn't have any. The rag works just fine. Just wipe the rims and any other areas that might come in contact with the lids off with vinegar. And what I do is I'll set the lid on and I kind of move it around a little bit to make sure that it fits good before I put the ring on. And here you can see, you just barely put that ring on, man. So you see I'm tightening it. It's not even hand tight. And then just boop, just give it a little snug. Fit them all down in your pressure cooker. Put about 3 inches of water, maybe like 1/3 of the way up. The can is fine. Add some vinegar. That's going to keep from damaging your pot. The aluminum's going to react. So you're going to add that vinegar to keep it from turning completely black. Lock the lid in place. Turn it on high and let it come to temp. This is going to take a long time. Once that happens, this little security thing here is going to pop up. Steam's going to be coming out of this at first, but it's going to pop up when it's ready. And there won't be any steam coming out of that anymore because that'll rise. If you need to use a toothpick or something to help it along once steam starts, you can. And you're going to let this vent for about a good 10 minutes. So have the setting on vent. As you can see, I have it here. There's a vent 1, 2, and 3. The setting for my area for doing meat is 2, so I do everything on setting 2. So after it vented for about 10 minutes, I put it on 2, and I let it come up to 2 on the little gauge there and turn it down to 4. And I know that 4 on my stove will keep this perfectly at 2 the entire time. So 90 minutes later, I took it off the heat. Keep everything the way it is until that drops down to 0. Then open this up. Check to make sure there isn't any steam coming out. Now there's going to be a little bit of steam come out of this, but it's not roaring, and you can see it. It clouds up the screen. There we go. But it's not roaring steam. Use your little tong things that they give you to take the jars out. Take them out right away. Set them on a towel or something, and they're just going to have to sit there, and they're all going to pop, pop, poppity pop, and you'll know that they're sealed. Wait about, 12 to 24 hours before you take the rings off, and label your jars. Boom shakalaka. All right, so a couple of quick notes. I got a 10-pound roll of this at Sam's. I got it on sale for like, I don't know, $30-some. So I ended up with 10 pint-sized jars of this. I've got a bunch of it made up in quart-sized jars also. So I ended up with like 1 pound in each jar. This is really for just personal use for me. Like if I want to mix some potatoes and ground beef or rice or whatever it is. But if you make the quart-sized ones, there'll be plenty for your family in there. I've got a family of 7, so I'll use a quart-sized jar of that and, cook it with whatever we're going to eat. And it's plenty. It's almost 2 pounds of meat in the quart-sized jar. So you can do anything like this. You can do chicken, beef chunks. We do a lot of pork like this. We started doing potatoes. I'm going to make some other videos showing how I do all of those other things too. But so some things to make sure you look out for when you're doing this. Make sure you clean the rim very well. You don't want anything the size of a grain of salt getting under this lid, because this will not seal properly if you do that. As soon as the steam goes out of your pressure canner and you can open it, take this out so that it can start to cool down and the lid will seal. And once the lid seals, it's fine like this, y'all. I pre-cook mine. You can put it in raw if you want to, but there's going to be a lot of liquid in here, and I didn't want the grease boiling up and creating a problem in between my lid and my jar. I didn't want any grease coming up and messing with the seam, so I pre-cooked it, and there's only a little bit of grease in here. It's not 100% cooked, but you'll note that this meat is going to be a little softer also. It's not quite corned beef hash. You know what I mean? Corned beef hash, it's not quite that soft, but it's not like hard ground beef either. So you're going to notice the consistency of this is going to be different. And please remember, when you're putting the lids on before you put this in your pressure canner, Do not tighten that lid down. I made some mistakes when I first started doing this because my brain was telling me, tighten the lid down to where you can't move it anymore. What happens is when this is finished and you go to take that lid off, you're going to take the, or when you go to take the ring, I'm sorry, don't tighten the ring down all the way. When you go to take the ring off, you're going to pop loose the lid with it. And the whole point is the ring is only there to hold this in place until it seals, okay? And it's very loosely at that. So what I do is I just kind of like this. You know what I mean? When I'm tightening this on, I just go like, just like that. And when it stops spinning, I grab it again and I just barely turn it. You want to be able to, it's okay if it's loose because you want to be able to, once this seals, you want to be able to take that ring off. Don't leave it on because you'll get a false. This is how you ensure that your jar is sealed properly, is by taking the ring off and just having the lid on like this, okay? So just leave the lid on like this. It's kind of, I know it's weird, but do it. And just put what's on here on the lid and then write the date. You're not going to be reusing these lids, okay? So don't worry about that. And try to use something that's not going to tear your jars up when you're taking the lids off. So if you can get a plastic lid popper, that's probably better than the metal ones. You don't want to scratch up the top of your jar and do anything that's going to cause a problem with your seal. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. I've got a buttload of meat here at my house. We started doing potatoes and stuff. Like I said, I'll do another video to show you how I did that. But in the meantime, pressure can ground beef. This stuff's going to last for years on my shelf. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you can't do it yourself, do it with Chomp.